You're live.
At 7 p.m., I will call the meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals to order. Please call the roll to establish a quorum.
Mr. Bunkenfist.
Present.
Dr. Keene.
Here.
Mr. Clarino.
Here.
Mr. Plummer. Mr. Buller. We have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Next, moving on to the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the August 12th meeting?
Motion to approve the minutes from the August 12th meeting.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? If not, we have no, we're not remote with anyone. We're just the four of us, right? Okay,
Correct.
so voice vote, all in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Minutes are stand approved. Dane, would you please read the rules of procedure since we have two public hearings?
For all petitions, tonight's meeting has the following structure. The department will summarize the petition and describe what action, if any, is necessary to be taken. The petitioner will be given up to 15 minutes to present to the board. The president will open a public hearing. Individuals will be given 3 minutes to speak. Those representing a group will be given 5 minutes to speak. Only one member of the group will be given 5 minutes to speak, and for efficiency purposes, we ask that those representing a group speak first. The public hearing will be closed when all interested members of the audience have had a chance to be heard and all emails received during the meeting have been provided to board members. The petitioner will then have a chance to respond to comments, and the board will follow with any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the petition. Please do not disrupt the proceedings in any way. If you need to have a private discussion, we ask that you please quietly exit the room. Please silence your devices at this time, and if you must answer them, then please quietly exit the room. If anyone ends up attending in person and wishes to speak in regards to a petition scheduled for a public hearing, they should approach the podium and write their name and address on the clipboard next to me. If you're not attending in person, comments regarding a petition should be emailed to planners@westfield.in.gov with the petition name and number included in the subject line. Those comments will be forwarded to board members and the petitioner. During your comments, please state your name and address into the microphone for the record, and we ask that you not repeat previously stated comments. Your presentation will be timed, and you'll be advised when there's approximately 30 seconds remaining. We would like to remind everyone to please speak directly into the microphone so the comments can be put onto the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Dane. Moving on to items of business, we have two items of business tonight, both requiring a public hearing. The first item, 2509-VS-12. Dane, that's yours.
It is. Good evening, members of the board. For the record, Dane Crabtree with the Community Development Department. The item before you this evening is a variance of development standard to encroach 8 feet into the 30-foot minimum rear yard setback to accommodate a not yet built new single-family detached residence on .26 acres in the Chatham Hills Planned Unit Development District. As one can see from the location map shown here, Exhibit 2, the lot begins to shrink in depth at the lot's midpoint along Chatham Shore Lane. Despite the home being pushed to the lot's front minimum setback extremity, as shown here on Exhibit 3, the home itself still encroaches approximately 4 feet into the rear yard setback. The additional 4 feet, a cumulative total of 8 feet of encroachment is requested so that in the future, if a resident wishes to enclose the open air patio shown on here, they may do so without the need of an additional variance. This item has been properly noticed and advertised. The department has received no public comments. Tyson Coons with David Weekly Homes is present this evening. In the event that there are questions, there are no presentations planned. Thank you.
Okay. So no presentation? Then I will open the public hearing at 7:04. Just a reminder, if there's anybody online, that they can email this in to planners at westfield.in.gov.
We have no emails thus far.
Okay.
And still none.
No comments. I will close the public hearing at 7:05. Members of the board, any questions of the petitioner?
I do. You know,
This is a, you know, a, this was platted, you know, originally, correct? And approved by the city council and, you know, and by ordinance it was established? That is correct. Why did you design a house that doesn't fit on the property?
So, I work for David Weekly Homes. We're a production home builder. These lots were originally spec for custom homes. The custom home builders sold the home sites to us because they were not able to sell homes in this area due to Lennar. So we purchased 15 sites from them, and we use plans we have in our mix. This home is the closest we have to fitting. The other ones were far more egregious in size.
So if you can't fit a home on the plot, why is that our problem?
In this case, it is due to the hardship of the curve of the,
But the lot is plotted for a certain size house.
that is correct.
Why are you coming to planning, zoning, and appeals to this board for that reason? And please, I'm the new guy here, so jump in if I'm asking a stupid question, but it seems to me it's up to you to build a house to fit the lot.
So in this specific situation, when the rear building lines were put onto what we have that are called lot fits, the original person had missed that. We sold the home to the individual which purchased the home that we were planning on building that for. And as we sent it out to the engineer to put it on the home site is where we figured out that the home did not fit. But those lines
Again,
were
why
not
is that our problem?
I suppose it's not your problem, it's our problem. But we, as a home builder, we're not a custom builder, so we don't modify regularly to make this work. And we were trying to work with Hinkie in purchasing these lots to be able to build homes in this community.
Any comments on that?
Sure, development standards are not an exact science. They are an arbitrary standard set forth in time when a zoning petition is set forth with the expectation that most, if not all, of those standards will be met. It does not inherently mean they will all be met, as shown to you in the 3 criteria that must be decided upon. If you feel that any of those 3 criteria are not met with this, you certainly have the right to vote no, but there's no science to zoning per se, especially when you're platting entire sections of 40 to 50 lots at a single time,
And this would be-
especially when the original developer is not the person before you looking to develop that site.
And this isn't a violation of the ordinance that created the property with the plats?
I mean, that is precisely the reason he is before you, is that it would, and you need to determine whether or not to grant a variance from that.
Okay.
Dan, let me ask you just to, for the sake of both items, I think, go through the 3 criteria that we use to make our determination. Could you just specify the 3 criteria that we use?
Sure. So as noted in the staff report, the 3 criteria include whether or not this request is injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. Will the use and value of adjacent property be affected in a substantially adverse manner? Or will the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance result in practical difficulty in the use of the subject property? And so in this case, I suppose the board's decision is the difficulty of the lot's odd shape a practical difficulty in developing this site as proposed? Because, I mean, I don't want to lead the board, but to me, the first 2 are obviously met, and it's the 3rd one.
Well, I'll make a comment. I think if this were the original developer and they did custom homes, my feelings might be different, but if we have a builder that does a portfolio of homes and doesn't really deviate from that, then it's a matter of how it fits.
Sure.
But the only other option would be sell it to somebody else who can build a house in there properly.
Yeah, I mean, to that end, when we are reviewing plats such as this, we have to determine whether it meets a certain lot size, you know, does it have appropriate frontage, does it have all these things that the zoning ordinance has established, regardless of whether or not this is an odd shape or not. If it meets certain criteria, the plat must be approved. So in many cases, there are odd-shaped lots that end up being difficult to build certain products on. But if the zoning standards only set forth a certain lot size and a certain lot width and a certain, building frontage or things like that, you could end up with some funky legal lots that do make it difficult for a builder to build on.
Any follow-up question or other questions? No? Then I will ask for a motion on the item 2509-VS-12. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve 2509 VS12, I believe with conditions, correct?
Yeah, they're probably
There were.
just that they record.
With the conditions as shown?
Yeah.
Is there a second? Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Ju-
Oh, go ahead.
Does this set any standard for the rest of this developer's property in the area?
Not inherently. The board does not set precedent unless they have another lot that they
I'm-
cannot meet a certain standard for. If they meet all standards, we must issue a building permit. If they can't meet a certain standard, they must come before you in order for a building permit to be issued.
I don't know, this makes me uncomfortable that we're basically, how many more building lots do you come to and say, oh, wait, this doesn't fit, let's try something else? I don't know. Any,
Well, I guess my feeling on this is it's going to be a community with the same builder, and you're going to have the same style of homes, and so this style will fit
Okay.
everything else, even though the lot, we're varying, we're being asked to vary the lot size. So I'm more concerned with the aesthetic value, that it fits in the context of the neighborhood
Okay.
rather than something else.
Maybe one thing, yeah, if it was a custom builder, but I get it, if you're trying to do a uniform portfolio, you still have variations in character and size, but they're all trying to be cohesive. I think it's, again, it's not our fault, but it's also an inherited condition that you're trying to comply with, so I think in that instance, that's why I'm supporting it.
And keep in mind,
Okay.
oftentimes developers are the ones to plat the lots, and then they end up selling plats to home builders. It's often after the fact that the platting is done first, then lots are sold, so.
okay, I can understand that, okay.
Please call the roll.
Dr. Keen,
Yes?
Mr. Clarino,
Yes,
Mr. Plummer,
Yes.
Mr. Bunkefist.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, now I need a motion on findings of fact.
Motion to approve findings in fact for 2509 BS 12.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Dr. Keen,
Yes?
Mr. Clarino,
Yes,
Mr. Plummer,
Yes.
Mr. Bunkefist.
Yes.
Findings of fact have been adopted.
Thank you. On to our next item, 2509-VS-13. This is a variation request, and Dane, I think you're presenting for Ryan, and we did receive written public comments before the meeting, and I saw everybody reviewing those, so is there any presentation to go on? Well, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, good evening, members of the board. For the record, Dane Crabtree with the Community Development Department. The item before you this evening is a petition for a variance of development standard in order to construct a detached accessory building on the property, more specifically a gymnasium-style structure. The property is comprised of approximately 1 acre, as shown on the screen, located at 15973 Oak Park Lane, zoned SF1, single-family large lot. The petitioner is requesting to encroach 11 feet into the 20-foot side yard setback in order to construct the accessory structure in the provided location. Due to a tree preservation easement that exists at the north side of the subject property, the petitioner was unable to place the structure in the confines of the property setbacks north of the home, and is therefore requesting to encroach into the eastern side yard setback. The item has been publicly noticed and advertised. The department has received one public comment letter, as you inferred, Dr. Keen, that you have. And the petitioner's representative is present this evening, and in order to make I would suggest making a brief presentation as to the necessity of the request and what the plans for said structure are.
Hello, my name is Jared Hauser, owner of the subject property. I'm here with my wife, Carly Hauser. We purchased this home in March, and part of our idea in purchasing a home with a larger lot like this was to build a structure like this, which will be inclusive of kind of a partial indoor basketball court area for our kids. We have one kid who's graduated high school and is on college, but we have two kids who are still in the house. One getting ready to go in high school next year, one just entering intermediate here in Westfield. And our thought process is to create, especially with the long winters here in Indiana, an indoor space that promotes healthy habits, especially as they go through their high school years, keeps them active, keeps them wanting to spend time home at our house in a positive manner, versus obviously lots of different things teenagers are sometimes prone to do. So we initially went into the design of this hoping to stick it kind of back, I guess, north of our house there, in the back of our property. But come to find out after we purchased the property, there's a tree conservation easement. There are some taller trees back there that the city and we want to maintain. And so we're actually happy with the fact that we can build this hopefully in an area where we will not remove any of those existing trees. But in order to orient it where it is now, as you see, it encroaches 11 feet on the side yard setback. You'll notice a couple things that we were very careful about in our design here. One is the building does not extend beyond our driveway. So it doesn't go beyond the existing improvements that are already there. So it doesn't change the use of our property, it doesn't change the look of our property, and it doesn't change how our property interacts with our direct neighbor there to the right, which is the easement that we're encroaching on. We had a conversation with them, and what we told them was, look, if you are in any way against this, or this in any way impacts you personally, let us know, we won't build the project. We won't go for the variance, anything. And they expressed to us they're supportive, they have no concerns whatsoever. Part of that's because of the way their house is oriented. They actually orient the other way, they go northeast. And their house is 30 foot off of that setback. So even if we encroach in 11, we're still about 9-10 feet from the property line. They're then 29 feet, so roughly about the same 40 feet that the 20-foot setback on both sides would call for. So that got them comfortable, again, not impacting their property. The other thing that we made sure to take care of was, you can't tell by this, but the property actually slopes into the backyard. So we're able to utilize that hill going down to not have to go vertical with the structure. We can keep it the same height as our garage roof line, therefore not impacting sight lines or anything along those for any of our neighbors. And so that was very important to us too, because obviously if you build basically another two-story structure, that's going to be more impactful on people's sight lines, et cetera, than essentially what this will look like from the front, which is just another garage bay. So that was our hope in designing this, even though we are impacting the side yard setback, the fact that we're keeping the same height and we're not extending past the current improvements as they exist, meaning we don't go beyond our driveway. So it seamlessly incorporates into our property as it currently exists. So that was our hope and that was our reasoning. You did mention that there was an objection letter. That objection letter came from one of our neighbors. I really appreciate the fact that they came over and they talked to us personally about it, and they said they were going to submit it. And I respect the fact that they did that. And I also respect the reasoning, their reasoning being they don't want to set a precedent. And also they want to maintain the integrity of the neighborhood. And fully understand that, and as a resident of the neighborhood, I greatly appreciate that, and we feel the exact same way. However, I do believe that each case has its own sets of facts and circumstances. There's a variance process for a reason. I don't believe that setback is necessary, precedent is necessarily a consideration, because just that. It's just because you say yes to one, you don't have to say yes to any others. It's the facts and circumstances of each and every case that you will consider and decide on. And we're hopeful that our design, as I just laid it out, makes it so that everybody feels like the integrity of the property, the wide open yards, the large setbacks and all that are being maintained intentionally with the designs, despite the impact and the encroachment on the variance. We feel like we are maintaining that integrity of the neighborhood, because that's just as important to us as it is to our neighbors who wrote the letters. So that's I think I'll stop there and see if you have any questions or want further information.
Thanks for that presentation and,
Yep.
and appreciate, just kind of going through the explanation and the history on that. I know that there are other, so speaking of precedents, I'm definitely aware of other precedents around Westfield where there have been similar structures like this, accessory structures that have been built. I'm not exactly sure whether or not, I can't speak to whether or not those specific cases were because of required variance of zoning standards. This was one-off, but I mean, I tend to agree that this is more about trying to find a balance, you know, building something that's gonna fit within the site and that's also gonna maintain this tree preservation easement, which I think is equally important for your other neighbors. So again, I mean, looking through the letter that was sent in objection to the variance request, I mean, I think it's gonna come down to the criteria that are listed in, you know, the 3 criteria that this body has to use as a review and less about, you know, one specific objection. So, you know, that's my 2 cents.
If there are no questions, I'll go ahead and do the public hearing, and then there may be questions after that. So I will open the public hearing at 7:22.
We have no emails.
No emails?
Still no email.
Okay. I'll close the public hearing at 7:23. Questions from board members? Comments? I'm just going to make a brief comment. I think 2 things that you presented were really important. One, that you tried to maintain the height with your present structure, so from the street, I don't believe this is really going to be very visible, except maybe very quickly from one direction. And secondly, the fact that you looked to go farther back first, and because of tree preservation and everything, you're kind of forced into this as opposed to, oh, this is more convenient for me type of thing. So I do appreciate that clarification out of there. I think that, to me, that's, both of those points are very important. Any other comments or questions?
No, architecturally, I think it was great. I mean, looking at the front elevation of the house, I think it kind of put it in kind of context. I think it was really nice. So, yeah, it's great.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion on 2509-VS-13.
Make a motion to approve 2509 VS 13 with the recommended conditions in the staff report.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? If not, please call the roll.
Mr. Clarino.
Yes.
Mr. Plummer.
Yes.
Mr. Bunkefest.
Yes.
Dr. Keen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, I need a motion now for findings of fact.
Motion to approve findings of fact for 2509 VS13 with the conditions noted in the application.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Clarino.
Yes.
Mr. Plummer.
Yes.
Mr. Bunkefest.
Yes.
Dr. Keen.
Yes.
Findings of fact are adopted.
All right, thank you very much. That's all of our business items for tonight. We have no items to continue to a future meeting, reports and comments. Plan Commission, I wasn't there, so Billy, you want to take over?
I wasn't there, but I think, Dane, correct me if I'm wrong, it was the 199 Onyxton East PUD that was approved recommended to council and approved yesterday evening. Then a overlay district was discussed and I think recommended to council? Or was that overlay district moved to a later workshop?
I don't recall. I want to say the workshop was skipped, but it did not yet go to.
It'll come back for business later.
Yeah.
And then a few items continued to future meetings.
Okay. Any comments from the community development people?
No.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Meeting is adjourned.
7:25.